What is going on, everyone? Now that the dust has settled and the 2025 offseason for the Houston Texans is wrapping up, well, before we do that, we got some breaking news. According to Diana Rossini, the Houston Texans are re-signing defensive tackle Foley Fatukasi. I absolutely love this move. Folo was a dominant force for the Houston Texans on the run, and now he gets another opportunity to compete on this defensive line. And I think Folo has an opportunity to compete for one of the starting defensive tackle spots. I think one of them for sure is secured by Sheldon Rankins, and I think the battle will be between Folo Fatukasi, Tim Settle Jr., and Mario Edwards. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, what I was previously saying, now that the dust is settling and free agency has come to an end, the NFL draft has come to an end, did the Houston Texans get better? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But it is now officially year 3, ladies and gentlemen. And our goals this year is to get to places where we've never gone before. My expectations is for the Houston Texans to once again have double-digit wins, secure the division, and get to an AFC championship. To me, it is AFC championship or bust. You got to get your first ever divisional playoff win in franchise history. Did the Houston Texans get better? We're going to discuss it. My name is Ruben Calvillo, and this is the 713 Houston Sportcast, where I drop daily Houston Texans content. Please make sure you guys are following me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for the latest Houston Texans news, rumors, and updates. Now, let's start with the offense. The offense was the biggest disappointment for the Houston Texans in 2024. Let's look at the O-line. Did the O-line get better? Out goes Laramie Tunsil, Kenyon Green, Shaq Mason, O-line coach Chris Strausser. In comes in Cam Robinson, Trent Brown, Laken Tomlinson, Ed Ingram, Ariante Ursery, who was selected in the second round out of Minnesota. They also added Cole Popovich to be the new O-line coach and running game coordinator. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here I can honestly say I don't know if the O-line got better because of who you lost at left tackle, which was a 5-time Pro Bowler in Laramie Tunsil. Now, of course, I am wishing that this offensive line is better and that through through competition and with a new coaching staff, that this unit can grow and protect C.J. Stroud, even without Laramie. Well, I'm kind of praying because this is all the work you've done in the offseason for the offensive line. I'm going to put a I don't know because I can't significantly say the offensive line got worse either because of how bad it was last year. And C.J. Stroud was the second most sacked quarterback in the NFL. So I'm going to put that one as a I don't know, as a maybe. Now, of course, all these maybes, yeses, and nos are going to contribute to, did the Texans get better? Let's look at the wide receiver room. Out goes Stephon Diggs. Unfortunately, I'm not going to say out goes Tank Dell because he is still a part of this Houston Texans team. And we kind of knew going into this season that he wasn't going to be here in 2025. But out goes Stephon Diggs, and in comes Justin Watson, Braxton Berrios, and your two selections in the NFL draft, second rounder Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State and third rounder Jalen Noel out of Iowa State. I think your wide receiver room got better. I think that one of those two is going to have an immediate superstar impact with the Houston Texans. You also got in Christian Kirk, and I saved him for last because he's the veteran. And I feel like Christian Kirk is getting lost in the shuffle here because of your two new young additions with Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. But don't forget, when healthy, Christian Kirk is dynamic. The wide receiver room, ladies and gentlemen, it got better. Your tight end room, I think it got better. Because not only did you add a tight end in the seventh round, Luke Lacey out of Iowa, but you also brought in new offensive coordinator Nick Caley to run the offense, and his specialty in Los Angeles and in New England was tight ends. He was a tight ends coach, ladies and gentlemen. And I always loved what John Gruden says, that when you look for an offensive guy, you look for a guy who coached the tight ends, because they have to know the running game as well as the pass game, because we know tight ends have to block as well as be a pass catching threat. I think with the addition of Nick Caley, and you know what he said, I love tight ends. I think that this group got better. I think we'll see better play from Dalton Schultz, Brevin Jordan, Cade Stover, and if Luke Lacey is involved, I think he'll be a positive impact. Your running back room, I think it got better with the additions of Woody Marks out of USC. Out goes Dare, in comes in Woody Marks, and I think Woody Marks is going to be more of a threat, not only in the pass catching area, but on the ground as well. Go back and look at his Mississippi highlights running the football. I got more excited with Woody Marks after I saw those. I think he has an opportunity to be, a factor as early as week one, but in a limited role, right? Maybe 1 to 2 opportunities on the ground. Maybe 1 to 2 opportunities in terms of, running back passes. Maybe we'll give him a screen pass here. But I think pretty early, Woody Marks is going to be able to, make his presence felt. But with that addition, alongside of Joe Mixon, alongside of Dameon Pierce, who also give you work on special teams, I think your running back room got better. And, of course, your quarterback room, you got Graham Mertz, quarterback out of Georgia. Apparently, he's already working with some of the rookie class. I absolutely love that. Look, your quarterback room stayed the same, and that's not a negative because of who you have, and that's the guy behind me, C.J. Stroud. So let's just say that it's I'll give it I'll say okay, like it's an improvement, but not really. So when you really look at it, the only area where you're worried on, alongside of, the new offensive coordinator, Nick Caley, is he going to work out? But is the offensive line. And you guys always heard me say that the offensive line is the foundation of the offense. And if these guys are able to protect C.J. Stroud, and they're able to create lanes for Joe Mixon, Dameon Pierce, and Woody Marks, it is going to be real scary in Houston, and we're going to see some fireworks, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on to your defense, right? Your defensive line consisted of Will Anderson Jr., Danielle Hunter. Pretty much your entire defense, ladies and gentlemen, is the same except for your safety department, because they got better with the addition of CJ Gardner-Johnson via trade. Out goes Eric Murray to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I think CJ Gardner-Johnson, guys, to be honest with you, is going to have an opportunity to be a captain for this Houston Texans team. I think he just adds a extra level of nastiness, an extra level of swarm to the defense and the entire team. I cannot wait to see him. And, you guys have heard me say this already. I think this defense has an opportunity to be one of the best in the NFL. You also brought in Ronald Darby in the secondary. You drafted Jalen Smith, Jalen Reed, one out of USC, one out of Penn State for depth in the secondary. You re-signed Jalen Petrie, making him the highest paid nickel cornerback in the NFL. The Houston Texans secondary, ladies and gentlemen, they got better. Your linebacker unit, rare work in the offseason. Not really a lot, but you didn't need a lot because of what you already have. And Azeez Al-Shaair, Henry To'oTo'o, Christian Harris, E.J. Speed. I believe Jake Hansen's in there. Let me know if I'm wrong. But, your linebacking core wasn't worked on, didn't need to be worked on. And then your defensive line, you get Keontae Hamilton in the draft. You just brought back Lorenzo Fatukasi. You extend Danielle Hunter or re-sign Danielle Hunter on a one-year deal. So your defense was pretty much solidified. You didn't really need any work. So the overall question is, did the Houston Texans get better? I think it's a soft yes. I really do. And I think we're going to find out real early if this Houston Texans team is going to be successful, and that is with this new offense. You guys let me know your thoughts and drop some comments down below. Go Houston Texans. You guys have a very blessed day. I love y'all. I can't wait for the season to start. And be on the lookout for a special surprise Texans video from a VIP event.